Nothing says Derby hospitality than offering your guest a Kentucky mint julep. But I gotta tell you, I think mint juleps get a bit of a bad rap when they're not made well. And of course, being a Kentucky girl like myself, I have to say it's all about the bragging rights anymore. And everybody makes them differently. But I feel that the way that I traditionally like to make a julep goes over very well with my guests. What my question was always, how did the mint julep come to be? And if you think about it, back in the 1800s when the mint julep was invented, mint was probably the most abundant spring plant in Kentucky. And if you think about the horse track, you know, our spring and our summer is quite warm in Kentucky, and so it was very refreshing to have a mint julep, simply because there was a huge piece of ice in the barn that people would chip away, and that's where that chipped ice comes from. If you think about the actual silver cup, that was sometimes the trophy that was given to the winner. And how smart was that? Because it would condensate when it was cold. And why the simple syrup? There's a reason why God made simple syrup. It's because back in the 1800s, we didn't have the Pappy Van Winkle of the day or the Maker's Mark. And so the risky might have been in the whiskey, actually. And so that sweetness took away some of that grit from the actual bourbon. So you put the syrup, the mint, the julep cup, the ice, and you created your first mint julep. My version of a mint julep is I like to start with pure cane sugar. Some people use powder sugar, but the problem that I have with powder sugar is it can make it too thick and you already have your simple syrup made. So the cane sugar, equal amount to that in water, and I bring it to a boil, but once it's hot, I remove the pan from the stove, and then I just tear off a few extra mint leaves. I don't ever do the stem because that's kind of the bitter part. So the pure leaf is what I steep in the hot mixture and let it steep like a tea bag until it cools. Then you'll have the most perfect texture of your simple syrup, and you can see it has just a tad of that color of the mint, but it's not so terribly watery. It has a little texture to it, which I like. From there, of course, we're ready to make the perfect mint julep. And again, taking one mint leaf and my Kentucky Derby muddler, you just want to lightly bruise the mint and never pound it or stir it around, because that again will release the mint juice and extra access of bitterness, and that's what you don't want. So now it's time for the secret ingredient, and that's the bourbon. I always carry a nice shot glass to determine how much of the bourbon I want in my mint julep. Now most shot glasses have about an ounce or two that you'd like, but with mine, I always add about 2.5 to 3 ounces of the bourbon for posterity and good luck. And then that wonderful mint mixture, the simple syrup, about 1/4 of an ounce for that, because I don't like my juleps too terribly sweet. I want them refreshing. And oddly enough, before I add the ice, I'm going to add the mint sprig and my straw. The reason why these straws are so short is because when you dip down to taste your mint julep, you want the nose of the mint, you know, just as another refresher. And so I always add my ice last, because it's harder to put in your mint sprig when you're adding your ice afterwards. And there we have it, a perfectly refreshing, already frothing on that silver cup, the perfect mint julep. Happy Derby.